Good evening, listeners, brave navigators of the enigmatic and the concealed. Have you ever felt the pull of the unanswered, the allure of the mysteries that shroud our existence? For more than a decade, a unique comic publisher has dared to dive into these mysteries, unafraid of the secrets they might uncover. This audacious entity is Paranoid American. Welcome to the mystifying universe of the Paranoid American podcast.
Launched in the year 2012, Paranoid American has been on a mission to decipher the encrypted secrets of our world. From the unnerving enigma of MK Ultra mind control to the clandestine assemblies of secret societies. From the awe-inspiring frontiers of forbidden technology to the arcane patterns of occult symbols in our very own pop culture. They have committed to unveiling the concealed realities that lie just beneath the surface. Join us as we navigate these intricate landscapes, decoding the hidden scripts of our society and challenging the accepted perceptions of reality.
Folks, I've got a big problem on my hands. There's a company called Paranoid American making all these funny memes and comics. Now, I'm a fair guy. I believe in free speech, as long as it doesn't cross the line. And if these AI-generated memes dare to make fun of me, they're crossing the line.
This is your expedition into the realm of the extraordinary, the secret, the shrouded. Come with us as we sift through the world's grand mysteries, question the standardized narratives, and brave the cryptic labyrinth of the concealed truth. So strap yourselves in, broaden your horizons, and steel yourselves for a voyage into the enigmatic heart of the Paranoid American podcast, where each story, every image, every revelation brings us one step closer to the elusive truth.
Y'all don't know how special this one is because we were able to pin down the world's only living homunculologist. In fact, the last living homunculologist that was even present, that even made a public appearance, was probably in the early 1900s. I'm sure our expert panel guest today is going to tell us all about it. If you don't know him already, I'll make myself bigger here. Homunculus Owner's Manual, which was basically entirely researched and written by the world's foremost homunculologist. You might know him from the Occult Book Club. You might even know him from Chosen One. And issue 2 is actually going to be coming out soon. So you're going to go to chosenone.com. But we're talking about this dude right here, the man, the myth, the legend, the face that only the alchemist homunculus could love. It's Juan. What's going on, Juan?
What's up, dude? There's others of us. And by the way, not Paranoid American. What's up, dude?
Oh, I gotta. This is a leftover from something that I don't even want to talk about. We're not even.
Let's not talk about that.
What this is from?
Not my proudest pap there, but
yeah. Well, you actually left early. It got way weirder too.
Really? Damn.
Yeah, it got really. I mean, Nate started getting really trigger happy with some of those pictures that really should have been shown like once, really quick, taken off the screen, quick shock effect. The idea was to make people wonder, like, did I just see what I think I saw? But he would just put it up on screen. Anyways, separate show. I'm not even going to link it below. It's that bad.
Yeah.
So I got to start out because I already can predict people in the comments and in the chat as this is premiering. Shout out to the premieres. Hit me with some super chats, please. But which one of us homunculus?
Which one of us? What, bro? You broke out there for a second.
Which one of us is the homunculus?
In this relationship, like me and you?
I just in the world, if objectively, if we just both venture out into the world in our own ways, who is the objective homunculus?
It would, in my opinion, it would be anyone in the high ups, like high up power positions, and where you have people like Ike who would say, no, they're lizard people. Well, that's kind of far fetched, right? Like a reptilian lizard person, skin coming off, lizard head. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you're making a judgment call by saying it's far fetched.
But here's the thing, right? Occam's razor. let's say
I don't believe in Occam's razor. I think Occam's razor was created by the Illuminati to basically just be like, no, that's way too complicated, guys. It was just lightning.
I love that.
Set fire. That was just lightning.
But here's the thing, bro. Let's say that okay, so out of the two, reptilians and homunculus, the more simple one would be the homunculus. And the reason for that is because these people, they, them, whatever you want to refer to them as,
non-binary.
A homunculus can be as simple. It's a talisman, right? So it can be as simple as I was born or forced to be born X time, X day, X season, and therefore I radiate the qualities and attributes of said talisman, because the talisman, the whole reasoning behind a talisman is mathematical, astrological in nature, and they use the numbers from those calculations to bring forth and harvest and use an energy from the stars, if you will. So a homunculus is that the moon child, bro. I mean, you've read about this. So if I had to pick who are the homunculus, because I don't subscribe to like the whole NPC thing. I don't like that, because I don't think that there are people who are truly empty vessels, except maybe these homunculi. And not even then, but you read the book Moonchild, right, with Crowley. It's like about embodying a certain spirit, elemental, angel, demon, whatever you want to insert here. And it seems like some of these elites are demonically possessed. I mean, look at Gavin Newsom, or look at, hit me with another one, bro. Hit me with a politician that looks like a demon. What, I don't know. Anyway, insert demonic looking
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump? He doesn't look like a demon though, bro. And not because he's a Republican, but he doesn't look demonic. Or does he? Does he look demonic to you, bro?
I guess you're making lots of judgment calls today.
Well, reality's subjective, bro. And that's why I think it's so important to talk about these topics and cover them. But if I had to pinpoint the homunculi, they're in the uppermost sections of this hierarchy, caste system, whatever in society that we have. They're the ones that are calling the shots. And if they're being governed by higher intelligences or higher entities, that's a whole other conversation. But if I had to pinpoint it, bro, I think it'd be these politicians. And if you look at it, dude, it's a lot of nepotism, a lot of families that are running. It all stays in the family. So what a better way than to just keep creating more of your own homunculi and just keep them in these positions to where, bro, I think how Sam Tripoli has said, the world is run by sorcerers, by magicians. And I think there's more to reality than just it being chalked, right? Occam's razor. I like that, bro. Occam's razor is created by the Illuminati.
I really do believe that. I'm not just saying that to be flippant. I think Occam's razor is complete BS. And when people bring it up in an argument, it's the equivalent of saying it's all a simulation, bro. Because once you say that, you could just mic drop and go and get a snack and let everyone else kind of like talk like adults. You know what I mean? The same with Occam's razor. Occam's razor is just someone coming up and dropping a turd in the punch bowl and being like, whatever's the simplest is the right. And then they like stick their nose up and walk away like they just dropped a gem on you. And it's just, I don't know. It's the most childish approach of any kind of problem solving. I think that the Occam's razor all started with someone that set fire to a building. And when they tried to point the finger at the dude that was the arsonist, he was like, it was lightning. It's the simplest explanation. I really, truly think that that's what it's at. And there's something called Gray's razor, or it's like Gray's law. And basically it's like skip out the in-between. So if the village is on fire, don't worry about if it was arson or lightning. Worry about that the village is freaking on fire, like the actual impact. And that it doesn't matter if something was done out of malicious intent, out of like an accident, any of this, because that's what Occam's razor comes up in conspiracy theories. It's usually like, oh, it just coincidentally happened. There wasn't a group of people planning and like making this thing happen. I mean, Manhattan Project, MK Ultra, the list goes, King Kill 33, the list goes on. So I think Occam's razor makes sense in the world of science, but when people apply it to philosophy or conspiracy, they're an Illuminati hand puppet. They've got a hand up their ass that's like moving their mouth for them.
Yeah, that's why we don't need researchers, bro. We need more philosophers, right? Was that?
I don't believe that.
Just jump, no, don't worry about any other records, and just jump head first. Don't worry about anything else, and I'm sure it'll all start making sense. But you're right, dude, and I think again, there is more to it, even if it is all fake and gay, Thomas. Even if it is all just make believe, and it is that these guys were LARPing, because I think a large portion of a lot of these people were LARPing, but there's something liberating about that, about putting yourself in a state of mind of wanting to believe something, right? And I'm not talking about in like a delusional sort of way, right? But when you are focused on a task at hand and you are conscious that you're focusing on it because you need to get it done. And I think that magic or the occult or anything really, I think comes down to that. And it comes down to putting yourself in the state of mind to be able to get things done. And because people talk about manifestation, all this stuff, it's like, well, you need to work to get the manifestation. You need to put in the work, and you can't just sit here and just meditate and it'll just materialize right in front of you. I don't think it works that way. So I think a large portion was them LARPing, or who knows, maybe the LARPing is part of the occult and it needs to be done. That's why with as far as like the cross-dressing, it's a, what was I listening to? I forgot what I was listening to, where it was talking about taboo and what was it? I don't know. I was listening to some book. I forgot what it was, but it was talking about like,
was it cross-dressing for dummies?
No, it wasn't cross-dressing for dummies. Okay. It was, I'll see if I can
link below, by the way.
Yeah, I'll find the link below. I don't know if it was, man, that's going to bother me now that I don't know what it was, but it was no, not the Devil's in the Ink. No.
You're reading books about the devil too? Jeez, man.
No, I recently did a interview with Tommy Cowan, who is a William Burroughs esotericist, and he wrote a very, very interesting article called, I'll tell you right now what it's called, because it's got a really interesting title. I'm a sucker for good titles, but it's called Devils in the Ink, William Burroughs, Brian Geisen, and Geometry as a Method for Accessing Intermediary Beings.
I love it when the title is a book in itself.
Yes, exactly.
There was actually a beginning, middle, and end in that whole title.
Yeah. So the concept of cross-dressing also plays a role into like the occult phenomenon as well. So you had a lot of, I think Crowley even might have dressed as a woman at one point. I could be wrong on that, but definitely the other guy that I talked about where they were doing the Kurlaw cell workings in Miami, that guy, his last name was Evans. He essentially, what he ended up doing in Miami was he ended up inducing an abduction, and then he was used as a sex slave by the great old ones on the other side. And then they impregnated him, bro. So again, this is all Thelemic literature. You can read it for yourself. But yeah, I did that episode with Tommy Cowan, and we were talking about Burroughs, because again, we're all in this circle of these guys were piggybacking off of each other, Burroughs being another one of these like Crowley types, and you don't understand if they're being literal or not, right? And that's the whole mystery behind all of this, and that's why it's so interesting to me to talk about these things and further understand them. And even, back to the realm of the homunculus, there's records of this stuff, right? Even if it was BS, bro, there's still people writing about this. And there's a reason why they were writing about it. I don't think it was all fake and gay and just make believe. Or maybe it was, but I don't know. But if you like if you like truth with a capital T, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and sign up for the Patreons, right?
Only if you love the truth. If you don't love the truth, you won't do any of those things.
Only if you love it, not if you like it. You have to love it. And then you
we'll know. Once you know that you actually love the truth, you'll just find yourself subscribing to the Paranoid American Patreon, going to chosenone.com, buying a copy of that, just purchasing everything. That's the only way that you can really show that you love the truth. And I want to ask you, speaking of showing your love of the truth by monetary donation, is homunculus just like the oldest grift of all time? Like, do you think it's just someone thought it up and it caught on, and we're like, I can make this my thing, and now just hundreds of years later, we're still grifting on it?
Alchemy itself could be considered one of the oldest grifts that there is. Absolutely. And the reason for that being is a grifter is a person who promises things and never delivers, right? And they're taking something in exchange for it. So they're either taking money or something else in exchange. And I promise you, bro, that I'm going to give you this. So alchemists absolutely were grifting. Now, there's stories, and that's all they really are. There's stories, but think about it, bro. I mean, any major religion, any ancient scripture, it's all stories, it's all writings. And people quite literally devote their whole lives based on just these writings alone. You know, to bring in the whole Burroughs aspect, even Crowley, like all these guys, they were writing things down. They didn't have pictures of these things or anything like that. They didn't have any other proof. So alchemy was just that. But alchemy is a special case because you were grifting on the chance of completing these magnus opus, I guess.
Magnum
but
opus.
But
Magnum opus.
Yeah, what are opus is, multiple.
Plural, yeah.
Yeah, plural, because there was multiple things you could do. You had the Philosopher's Stone. You also had, you had the red stone or the white stone. You want to create some gold, bro? You want to create some silver? Like, it's up to you. Like, which one do you want? And then they threw in like all this other stuff, but they would entice royalty. And this is why it's also interesting, because the higher ups are, right? We can talk about the Monroe Institute and all these people that were talking about like astral projection and hemisync and tapping into other realms. Even was it the Manhattan Project that was about opening portals, or am I getting my projects mixed up?
Montauk Project.
Montauk Project, that one, where it's about like tapping into other parallel dimensions. Well, this royalty would have huge courts of alchemists. But alchemy, to me, it's like I've called it the utility knife of like the occult world, because you got infinite money glitch, bro, infinite gold. Oh, well, all right, I got all this gold. Well, I'm not going to live long enough. Oh, no, we got you covered. You want to live forever too? Yeah, we can do that. It's like, oh, all right, well, I'm kind of bored with all this money and all this life. Well, what do you want to do? I don't know. I want to like become a god. Well, you can either do two things. You can either transcend space and time and step outside of reality, or you can create artificial life. And then you can take that artificial life and do some cool shit with that artificial life. Just take it apart. And it's like, again, it's homunculus all the way down. Well, alchemy it encapsulates everything together in one thing. So think about being some alchemist. Would you rather be living in a castle? Yeah, you have to work all day, but you're like, yo, if you don't leave me alone, I'm not going to be able to get this magnum opus done. So just go over there. And once I finish this, I'm going to call you. All right. Don't call me. My people will call you once I'm done. And you're like that your entire life. And it helps when you're like, hey, that guy over there can vouch for me. He was there when I did the transmutation. And there's stories about me doing transmutation. So you have like this reputation as an alchemist, but is it the oldest grift? I don't know if I'd call the homunculus the oldest grift, maybe, but alchemy 100% is one of the oldest grifts. And they were known as forgers. They were known as people who, right? Edward Kelly. I mean, we know about him, the crop-eared wizard. Well, why was it? Because he was forging documents and doing and fakes. They were faking. And not only that, but alchemy also brings in like the whole illusion aspect of it. Literally stage magic, because you can turn the first alchemists were actually about coating metals, changing their color. Chrysopoeia, I think is what it's called. I could be saying it wrong, but anyways.
It was mad easy to do once you knew how to do it, and it probably looked impressive as hell. Because people were like, what? It's a whole new thing. And the dude's just like, yeah, I like circled it under a flame for a few hours and then dunked it in ammonia or whatever the hell. I'm just making it up.
Yeah,
but
yeah, no, absolutely. So think about that, bro. Just because, and that's the other aspect of it, is like when you don't understand something, it can be supernatural. Right. But also because you don't understand it doesn't make it fake and gay. right? Because we can get into that realm too.
Well,
It's like,
I don't know if I agree with your definition of grifting, because you mentioned that grifting is promising something that you never deliver on.
a con. Yeah.
But I mean, couldn't you be delivering on the thing? Like, what if people are going to the grift for the feeling that it gives them? Like, they just want like the Peter Popov miracle water that you sprinkle on your mailbox, and then when you do that, like just a check shows up out of nowhere for 30 grand. And it's like, that's because I put the magic water on there. Maybe, but I think what people are really buying into is the feeling they get from it and the hope that it provides. And I think that in alchemy is kind of
That's
the same
the state
thing.
of mind, bro. That goes back to the state of mind, because what is a synchronicity to you, Thomas? Like how do you, if you have a synchronicity, which you and I have had, we've shared some synchronicities together, you and I.
I'm still recovering from the last one.
What was the last one?
I thought we weren't ever going to talk about it again. We agreed mutually to never discuss that.
All right, be quiet. So what is a synchronicity to you? Because that would be like a sort of thing like, oh, it aligned up perfectly, and it must have happened because I did that one thing. Like, I think
that's magical thinking is what you're describing here. And to me, it's
what's the
only after a certain number of those happen in sequence that seem related do I pay any mind. I guess I'm not one of those people that like one thing and I'm like, oh my God. Like, you know, when sometimes you pull into wherever you were going and the song just ends like right as you pull into the parking spot. And you're just like, yeah, like I was meant to be here. I think that's silly. I think you're a child. You've got an infantile mind.
That's a stupid one, though, bro. That's
but if you do, but if you did that, and every time you went to a certain place, no matter what you were listening to, the song ended only when you went to like every time you go to Publix, right? It just like the song ends no matter what you're listening to. That to me would be a true synchronicity worth exploring, as opposed to just like randomly trying to make order out of the chaos.
Bro, but there's some weird ones that sometimes happen.
What are some weird ones?
All right, so one of the recent ones that I covered, and it'll be out for the members in this week, this Monday. My sister hit me up, and well, I shouldn't have said who it was, but anyways, a family member hit me up, and they were involved in a little fender bender, right? So they were like, "Hey, do you think you can find a light for me like today?" I was like, well, the only way, and it was a Wednesday, bro. And mind you, I've been listening and studying the Red Book by Carl Jung. So I was going to do a Jungian episode. Now, I pull up to and I have pictures of all this and I cover it in the whole episode, but this is a weird one. It was a Wednesday out of all the days. I was like, all right, fine. I'll go and try to find you a light for your car. I'll go to the Do You Pull and Pay in Orlando. And I'll pull out the light and I'll pay for you pull and pay. And as I'm waiting in line, bro, I am in the line and I look over to the window and there's a special that day, Wednesday, that I was there. And it wasn't 33% off of headlights and tail. It was like 20% or something like that. 20% off of headlights and tail lights and something else. So out of all the days I could have gone, I was like, all right, that's kind of weird. I'm here for a headlight. And that same exact day that I pulled up, it just so happens to be, all right, that one, whatever.
Do you go there every day? Do you know they don't just swap out the days? So no matter what day you show up, it's like, oh my God, there's a Monday special.
It was that one. It was, I have the picture. It was that specific Wednesday with the number and everything. It wasn't like a wide every Wednesday. No, it was that particular day. They were running that.
How do you know that on Thursday they didn't just replace the word Wednesday with Thursday so that any rube that walks in there thinks they found
I can show you the picture. It was a straight up picture. I took the picture and I'm smiling like an idiot in the reflection of the window because I thought it was funny. I'm like, and then I sent it to the person. And I was like, look at this. What a coincidence. And they're like, yeah, that's not very funny because obviously their situation wasn't funny. But I found it funny because again, it was a synchronicity to me. Whatever. Where we chalked that one up. I took care of the situation.
Occam's razor says that was just the day that they had a sale.
All right. That's fine. On the way to back home that same day, and I took a screenshot of this as well. I was listening on the radio to the person that I was going to be interviewing, MJ Dorian, and he was talking about the dream that Carl Jung had where he was, he encounters Elijah or something like that, right? Some obscure Elijah from the Bible, whatever, in his dream. And at that exact moment that he mentions the name Elijah, one of my patrons, because I get the emails of the comments that the patrons leave on the post. And mind you, this is all the same day. He comments about Elijah and the name that Elijah means. But it was in relation to another episode that I had posted on my Patreon. So again, I got proof of all this, but what are the chances that it happens that same day? That, those weird coincidences, bro.
Well, the chance is 100% because it happened.
But that's bizarre, isn't it? You can agree that it's kind of weird.
I disagree. I'll entertain you if you really want to feel special about this, but I don't feel think special you went to a junkyard and they had a special that day any more than if someone is like clipping coupons and they're like, oh, maybe we should get some laundry detergent, and you turn the page and there's a freaking coupon for laundry detergent and you're like, oh my god, the angels are looking after me, this is a divine sign that I need to go and buy laundry detergent today.
Hey bro, it's like sometimes, and I don't know if you believe in God or not, Thomas, but sometimes
not your God. I believe in the real God.
The what's his name, dude? Can you tell me his name? Now you just made me lose my train of thought. But the whole story of like the guy's drowning, and people show up to save him. It's like, no, God's gonna send me.
Yeah, this is one of those horrible Christian jokes that they tell at like Christian organizations.
You know which one I'm talking about, right? It's like, oh, I tried to save you.
You did the helicopter. I sent you the tire.
Yeah. So how many times, bro, does it need to be a coincidence for it to actually mean something? How many times would you have to get it to a place and the song needed to end at that precise moment that you pulled into the place for you to be like, all right, something's up?
10.
10 times?
Yeah. I got a high barrier. Not all of us are easily swindled by Occam's razor.
Not all of us are easily grifted upon, dare I say.
Well, see, now I think being swindled and grifted, I don't know. I guess we're getting into semantics a little bit here, but I feel like a grift is, again, like my go-to example would be like a Peter Popoff industry, like a televangelist style. Like
snake oil salesman.
They might realize that they're not really curing people and like miracles are following them around, but they keep it up. Man, I'm struggling to not name names here, but there's some other people even in like within this community that they go balls deep in a certain topic and they become like the expert in that topic. But then it's like you can't ever change your mind because you've got this huge following of, well, you could, but if you did, you'd be at risk of losing, I guess, the respect of the following all these people. And if you've made that your career,
Tartaria.
Fill in the blank. I'm not going to mention any.
I will.
I want to. I'm not going to mention any specific names. Because we all grift too. And I want them to call out on my grifting. What
are we grifting though, bro? We're talking about concepts and things that are part of it's history, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing wrong with wanting to have an interesting conversation. Why is it a grift when if people want to pay you, they're going to pay you regardless. You don't talk about the grift that they're paying to Netflix, every month, or their membership subscription to any of these Fortune 500 companies that just get richer and richer. You don't complain about that. But when they want to pay for some entertainment and for some knowledge, some true knowledge, because we're giving them true knowledge
with a capital T,
then it's a problem. Why? Like, I don't know. I never understood that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never understood that mentality. It's like, why are you pointing fingers at the people in your community instead of pointing fingers at the true people? And it's making me question your intentions if you don't want to monetize off of your hard work that you're putting into this stuff. Like, what are your true intentions if you don't? Let's be real, bro.
Well, now you're getting real specific now. I'm being a little bit more broad. So
I'm being broad too, though.
Well, because I think we're all grifting, and in my definition of it is essentially like a con, but not a con in that you're trying to steal somebody or sell them a monorail that doesn't work, but a con in that, like a confidence man, in that if you just portray yourself to be some sort of an authority or an expert in any field, no matter whether you've even read a freaking book about it or you've just seen a bunch of YouTube documentaries and you're like, oh, I can do that better. That to me is a grift, because you're selling your confidence and you're getting other people on board just because you're so damn confident when you're talking about it. You could just be making it all up. You could be talking about dumb stuff like Miami Mall aliens. You wouldn't do that, because I don't think you're that kind of a grifter. You've never done an episode on Miami Mall aliens.
Absolutely, I have.
You have?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, come on.
But if you actually listen to the episode, you know that I didn't say it was aliens. If you actually listen to the episode.
Well, I don't. I read the title only, and I look at the thumbnail.
No, that's your fault. But if you actually would have listened to it,
because you've put that disgusting filth energy into the universe by putting the title there and putting the thumbnail, that it was a little clickbaity, I'm assuming, right? If you did it, aren't you grifting? If you're making a clickbait title, you are presenting something but not delivering on that by your own definition. It seems like it's the ultimate grift. Why not just embrace it, my friend?
Yeah, no, you're right. But here's the thing, Thomas. Why are you going to
like that? It negates the first thing you said, but go ahead.
No, I know it does, and that's why I did it. But this idea of deliverance, right? And not deliverance of like the religious, but the delivery of said information. You can only make up so much information, bro. Mind you, we are at an age right now where we have access to all the information since the beginning of time, right? Almost since the beginning of time, but you get what I'm saying. You can double check things real time with Chat GPT. I know it's not the greatest, but for an example. And if you're taking my word for it, if I am trying to intentionally grift and make things up in order to create a sort of following or whatever it is, it's going to get to a point in time where people are going to double check what you're saying. And you're only going to get away with the grift for so long.
I don't believe that at all.
Yeah, dude. If I start saying things that aren't real or true, I'm going to get called out for it, and I'm going to be held accountable for the information that I'm spreading.
I don't think that's true at all. Even right now, if you look at any of the big grifter account, let's just go with like Flat Earth, right? If you go with a big Flat Earth Google, I'm not going to call any names, and you find that there's people, quote unquote, calling it out and calling out the propaganda. But there's propaganda campaigns that our own government and other governments have put out. They get called out, but they still remain the truth. It's almost like you're advocating for a Snopes. Like, oh, well, if I say something.
No, I'm advocating for do your own research. And that's why, Thomas, whenever I do present something, I'm not pushing my ideologies on you, bro. Thomas, the butt homunculi are real, bro. I've seen it firsthand. No. It's like, hey, I did research on X subject. Here is everything X source said. What does it mean? I'll be the first person to tell you I don't know anything. And whenever I go on a podcast, I tell people I know absolutely less than what I did when I first started, which is kind of counterintuitive, but because I'm here to research and learn as many cosmologies, about as many topics as I can, because I find this sort of stuff interesting. But now if I'm sitting here and I'm telling you, damn it, Thomas, the earth is flat because XYZ and this is it, and there's no shaking me, and you're a globey and you're a globe lover. You like globes, Thomas? You
show me the curve? I'm looking out my window right now and I don't see a curve.
You globals. I don't care. I don't advocate for that. I don't care about the shape of the earth. Hey, it might be flat. Who knows? Or it might be round. You global sexual. You like that? You like being called a global sexual? You dirty global sexual? So the thing that bothers me is I know it. And therefore, and you're absolutely right. There is counter arguments within that, but as I said, there's not enough evidence for a non-believer to begin with. And I think people also get off on the feeling of debating somebody and wanting to prove them wrong. Don't you ever get that one comment where you did a 2-hour presentation or whatever, and then you get that one guy that's like, you got the two people. Yeah, I knew about that like 3 years ago.
That's usually you, to be honest. Or that's one in the comments.
No, I don't really comment things. And if I do comment, I I
My
know I'm
channel's not big enough for you. That's the real reason.
I know. Yeah, and I got a time limit today for these smaller shows. I got about an hour left. So the guys that are like, oh, hey, you missed this or you got this wrong, to one up you, like, hey, I know more about the subject than you do, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I don't get too lost in the sauce. I'm going to continue to talk about these things regardless of what anybody thinks. And I find it super fascinating, bro. Like for you, why'd you join the Freemasons? Because you wanted access to information that you thought was esoteric, or that you think is esoteric, or that is esoteric, whatever it is. And you wanted to one up the next people. Like, what enticed you? The mystery. Like,
actually, that's not the correct. And I don't know if I'm even allowed to say this, but whatever, I'll say it. That when you go for your initial background check, or when you sign up for the Freemasons, at least in the United States, as every lodge I'm aware of, they'll put together a little investigation committee, and
bullshit. They just want your dues, bro.
All right, I'm telling you, but they put together an investigation committee. They'll do background checks. They'll investigate you outside of like a regular courthouse background check. They'll even pop in at your place of residence unannounced, or they might give you a slight heads up, and they'll basically just want to talk to you in your own house just to make sure you're not living in like a trap house, I assume. But it's not just like you sign up and you're in. And the point that I'm going here is that they'll ask you, why do you want to join Freemasonry? And the answer you don't want to give is that you're curious, or that you want to like learn about the mystery of it. That's almost like an instant way of like, we're sorry, this is not for you. Like, you actually have to have a much better reason than I'm curious, or I want to learn about mysteries. And I'm not making that part up. I don't think that's a secret, but yeah, hopefully I'm not giving away the answer to the test in any way. But you'd never become a Freemason with that kind of response, sir.
I'd never become a Freemason regardless, but as soon as they Google me, they're like, yo, look at this guy's podcast, bro. Look at this guy's podcast. Out. I'd be eliminated right off the bat.
You think that, but you'd be wrong, man. There's a brother in my lodge that was on a conspiracy theory TV show on camera with his name, video, pointing at the Statue of Liberty in New York, saying that's Lucifer. So I mean, I feel like there's nothing that's like off limits in that regard, as long as you're not giving away the secrets. Like, don't tell them that you're just curious, because that's an instant kick out.
I think you're lying, Thomas. It doesn't matter what you tell me. I'm still not going to believe you. It could, because
Ockham I'm telling the truth, though.
No, but if I was a Freemason, I'd probably say the same thing to get people off.
Well, that's because you're a horrible person, and that's just your default mentality would be to just lie, deceive, grift. Where a regular Freemason, it's a good men becoming better. That's essentially the line. But if you start out as the bad apple, there's not a lot for you there.
So, Thomas, enough about this grift talk. I'm done with it. I want to move on to a different topic, but yeah, I think that doesn't matter.
I'm sure you do.
Doesn't matter. We're going to talk about these subjects, and I think they're interesting, and there is more to reality than meets the eye. I think you can. I know. Here's the thing, bro. I know you, so I know that you're not into like the woo-woo stuff. I know that you're not into the. Where are you with the aliens? Are you
bullshit? All of it. Grays, lizards, everything. There might be space mold out there. There might be like a space spore that they found, or even. I think space is real. I think that they might have found like a fossil of space mold somewhere, and that would probably be the closest thing to aliens. I would lose all respect for aliens if they actually showed up on this planet, because it would be like, seeing a family member. What was I don't know if you ever seen the new House of Usher series, but in the new House of Usher, there's this one like complete degenerate son, and he throws this like rave full of drugs and sex and everything out in the middle of nowhere in this basically dilapidated chemical processing plant. And the point is that he's looking around and he sees like a family member there. And it's just like this unspoken thing, like, oh, we're both total degenerates. Like, we're not going to tell anyone about this. And I kind of feel like that's sort of the vibe.
How about all the ancient records? Was that all fake and gay too? Like all the depictions and everything is just people just make believe? like the
No, I think that's
Quetzalcoatl.
memory. Well, this is my interview with you, not you interviewing me. But
All right.
I think it's memory palace. I think that almost all major religions and all of the huge sculptures and paintings, all of that can be summarized as like the best freaking memory palace and memory enhancement tools possible. Because if someone sits down and tries to say like, Juan, remember the entire Bible, here we go, I'm going to start reading it to you, or here, memorize the text. There's some freaks out there that can straight up memorize every letter, you know what I mean, with the photographic memories or whatnot. But for a normal person, if you want them to memorize Genesis, or you're like, yo, imagine like a hot body dude and chick, and they're like hanging out by this tree, and a snake comes down and starts talking to them, and one of them eats an apple. Like, all of these things are such visceral visuals that it's impossible to forget it. So even if that was like the children's version of the story and all the adults knew the real version, after thousands and thousands of years, like, the one that sticks out the most is like, oh, there was a naked chick with an apple. Isn't that hot? And that sticks in your memory. I mean, I'm oversimplifying that, but I think that describes all the tales of aliens and supernatural everything, as it's easier to remember. You've done memory palace work, right? Do you still remember what's outside your front door?
I do. And I want to get that guy on a podcast. He's still around, right? The Moonwalking with Einstein guy. What's his name?
Yeah, I don't even think he considers himself like a memory expert anymore. It was like he did that article, he wrote a book, but it like you can pick it up.
He was a champion though.
He did, yeah. And what the whole point was that anybody could become a world memory champion if they just put their mind to it.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna probably reach out to, because that's an interesting concept of being able. But here's the thing, dude. Like, I've always wondered why we're able to come up with all these mythologies, because right, you're talking about the base story, the core story, and then people start to fan fiction and start to fill in extracurricular, and then there's other versions of that same story, but just backwards and inverted.
Like Lilith is my favorite fan fiction version, where someone like retrofitted. They're like, wait a minute, there must have been someone before Eve. You know what I mean? Because first they said they were both made out of the dirt, but then Eve comes along made out of the rib. What about the chick between there? I love the fan fiction. That's the coolest part.
Well, here's the thing. So this is a question that I've always debated, where if the first Adam, in some origin stories, in some cosmologies, was a golem at first, was created as a golem, right? From the dirt, he was animated and breathed life. And that story goes in a whole bunch of different mythologies. Let me give up hold on. It's the Illuminati symbolism. I got to give up when I adjust my
you're throwing some crazy Illuminati hand signals right now.
Yeah. All right. So if the first Adam was a golem, and we are created in the image of God, or the great architect of the universes, you guys would call him. If we're made in the image of God and the first Adam was a golem, does that make God a golem or homunculus? And if so, then who created God?
What's the logic there? Why would God creating a homunculus mean God's also a homunculus?
We're made in the image of God. So wouldn't that default saying that God is a golem too? If we're made
I don't know
in his
if I
image?
follow, because a homunculus means little man. So just the premise that you're a little man means that the little man's fashioned after the big man.
Golem, bro, golem, which is different than a homunculus.
Is it? I thought they were somewhat interchangeable on context.
No. So here are the differences. If we want to get into the nitty gritty, a golem is they're both artificially created beings through the use of magic. The golem, word magic, essentially. The alchemical homunculus, alchemy, the great art, the royal art, the great work, whatever you want to refer to it as. A homunculus needs to grow into old age. And also, you should probably check out 30 Coins on HBO.
Yeah, I don't get my information from TV, but that's fine. Oh yeah, I'll
listen. I'm gonna probably do on Jose's podcast. We're gonna probably do a breakdown of that show. It's a show from Spain, and bro, first 5 minutes, homunculus, like straight up, dude, like nothing, homunculus, bro. You're gonna as soon as you see it, you're gonna know. And so a homunculus needs to grow into old age. They need to be matured, nurtured, whatever you want to do, into old age. A golem is already fully formed from the ground, and it is ready to go right off the bat. And it only does one thing. It doesn't divinate to you. It doesn't do anything else. It is programmed to do one thing. It's animated. And if you set it to protect this property or whatever it is, it's a guard dog essentially. But again, the homunculus is more utility knife. It's a talisman. You can keep it as your buddy, or you can sacrifice it to Moloch and then use its entrails and its body parts for different magical operations. It's up to you, bro. I
just want to clarify, because we're about truth with a capital T here. I don't know if you sacrifice a homunculus to Moloch. I think Moloch only wants your kids, and at that, your best kids. I feel like that would be an insult. That if you're going out and dude, that's like when they do the rifle buyback programs, and those people go in, they just like 3D print a bunch of crap that technically is a gun and then trade it in and get money. That would be like offering your homunculus to Moloch. I wouldn't recommend it. If Juan does that, that's fine. He takes shortcuts. I would offer an actual firstborn.
I love that comparison, bro. That's awesome. Yeah, it's like, no, we don't want your empty vessels. What is this? It's like, but it's a part of me, peaceful offering here. But and also,
you know how long I worked on this last night?
And Moloch might have not even been like a god. It might have been just like an operation.
Well, it was from my research, and we've talked to I can't remember his name.
Eddie?
Who?
Esoteric Eddie?
Esoteric Eddie was on one of the shows, but there was another guy that has written all these different books about Enoch, and like Enochian magic, and he was like a Knights Templar dude. Anyways, he made a really good case for that same premise.
That it's an operation and not an actual deity.
Correct. That the offering was called Mulk, MLK, and then there was also the name for like a king, which was Malik. And that the two versions of this phonetically, if you try to pronounce MLK, shout out MLK, but it just sounds like Mulk. Like it just sounds like you're about to vomit. So if a bunch of people just keep talking about, let's go do that Mulk, then eventually someone spells it out in a weird way.
Yeah. Like, bro, are you okay? Yeah, let's go do the Mulk.
What other topics don't interest you? What are things that come up constantly in like the conspiracy occult world, and you're just like, yeah, that's cool, but I'm gonna do something else?
So the shape of the earth is one of them, because I'm more of a hollow earther. I think that there is more evidence of hollow earth than there is of flat earth. That's just me. That one doesn't really like, oh, it's flat, and this is why. It's like, and then I love the philosophical aspects of it. It's like, well, it's because it's here to make you insignificant. Well, joke's on you, already feel insignificant as is. I don't care about the shape of the earth to feel insignificant. I already feel.
That's a very narcissistic thing to say. Like someone with a huge ego is just like, you're trying to tell me I'm not special. Like, well,
it's like, I know I'm not special. Like, you don't got to tell me and rub it in, with the shape of the earth. It's like you find out it's flat. Oh, I'm insignificant.
In all honesty, though, would it not be incredibly fascinating to you if NASA or whoever came out and was like, you know what, we've been lying, it's flat, Earth is flat,
that'd be,
it's an infinite plane. Okay,
infinite plane.
So let me. I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I'm going to state the way I feel, and just let me know if you agree with this. But the reason why I don't care about flat Earth versus a
I don't understand it enough either. That's another one. I don't understand it.
Well, it's because for me, I feel like the jury's kind of out. Like I'm already fully on board the globe model. It's been programmed into my brain. So when someone brings up the flat Earth, the burden of proof is so high, and the only proof that ever gets thrown out is use your eyeball. And we did that whole occult book club, and we've talked about Rene Descartes a few times. And that dude didn't believe his eyes. Even if he saw the curve with his eyes, he'd be like, like that's just someone that's just jiggling my optic nerves. They're playing with me.
Licking it. Yeah.
So to me, that's why. But I want to know, like, do you really not care? Or is it just because you already feel like you know the answer and like all the other arguments don't make sense?
I legitimately do not care about that.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that, because you just said it would be mind-blowing if they came out.
It would. It'd be cool. And then I'd be over it. Like, oh, all right, cool. On to the next thing.
I don't feel like I ever get over an infinite plane.
Bro, and that's the other thing. Like, oh, there's no infinite space, but there's an infinite plane. All right, bro. But here's the thing. when NASA would come out with that news, boom, I promise you, all those people who were on board with Flat Earth, now it's a psyop. It's a psyop. It's not true. You know, the dinosaurs were not real. You know, like all this other, they're going to come out and say the opposite. Well, here's the proof. No. It's got to be a psyop. The government's behind this. And it's like, all right, whatever. So though that is one of those, and because I feel like, again, there's more, anything that has to do with interdimensionalism, manipulating reality, because I'm a big sci-fi nerd, bro. I love sci-fi. And anything that has to really do with that sort of thing, like really perks my esoteric nipples up and just makes my nipples super hard. So that's what really gets me off. When you're talking about like the shape of the earth, cool. Like I can get down with hollow earth and all those other things. And, you know, I can actually Google and see that there's stuff underneath the ground and that stuff. And there's forest and animals and everything under us. So that whatever. The other one, bro, to be honest, government conspiracies. Like and not like they're lizard people, but the stuff like the Illuminati bloodlines type of stuff, Committee of 300. Like I find it interesting, but it's like, it doesn't get my rocks off. Like, hey, there's a cabal of elites that rule all the money in the world. And they're causing wars to get all this extra money. All right.
Right, Juan's like, drop a homunculus in there and maybe I'll care.
Exactly. It's like, well, if you tell me, hey, all these elites are homunculi and they use magic to control our perceptions. Oh, okay. Now you've got me a little bit more perked up, but it's like, what are you going to do about the Bilderberg group?
Well, I mean, actually, you're starting to open up a really good case for. We're not going to say the G word anymore because you said it's off limits now. But imagine for just a second, you've got a Juan out there that's like, I don't care. Yeah. Bilderberg. Yeah. Council of 300. I don't care that they're running the world, and I don't care that you can show me. But if someone's like, yeah, dude, but they're also shape-shifting lizards, and all of a sudden people are like, huh? And now all of a sudden they're interested, right? Or if they tell you that they're homunculi or fill in the blank. And I feel like this is the noble version of the G word. That if you make something that's real, but then you like add a little twist where it's like, oh, but there's also boobies. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, dude, you do a little salt bay in it. I feel like that's a noble cause. And in that regard, the same way that, you know, people remember a tale about a naked chick and an apple and a snake. Well, you might remember shape-shifting reptilians and infinite planes and
Mind Palace triggered. Mind Palace triggered. So like now I remember it. You know what I'm saying? And you're absolutely right. Different strokes for different cosmologies, bro. You know, in this saga, you're 69 yourself. In this other saga, you're making homunculus. Like, who knows? You know, you're making homunculus in this other one. So it's like,
who do you think was more magical, Eeyore Bach or Aleister Crowley?
I think Aleister Crowley was more magical.
What would happen if the two of them hooked up and they just like went to town on each other?
I think. You know, that's a good observation, but I think that at least Crowley was writing about this stuff since the beginning of his life and wasn't like, hey, 1984, bro. I'm going to start talking about this. It's like, why? Well, you see, I couldn't for 1,000 years. Okay. It's like, well, can anybody else back your claims up? Nope. They're all dead.
No, but watch what I can do.
Yeah, but watch what I can do.
This guy, I believe anything he says now.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, bro. Like, and that's, I've always wondered, like,
bro, imagine just showing up to any situation and being like, did you know 9/11 was this inside job? And people start debating it and they look back over at you and you're just like.
Well, didn't we talk about Jim Jones and like how charismatic and how well he was? And I mean, this applies to a whole bunch of people in history that are good talkers that can talk about certain things and can manipulate people. I mean, you know, NLP, Tom, or not Paranoid American.
Yeah, rhetoric. I would just call it rhetoric at this point.
Rhetoric, where you're able to twist things into like, damn, I don't know if this guy's full of shit. Like a good salesman, like, or people who don't take no for an answer. And I think if you are able, if you sprinkle in a little bit of truth, a little bit, I think what gets people's rocks off with a lot of this stuff is the etymological breakdowns, right? Like when you start to break down the etymology of words like damn, dude, that makes a lot of sense to me. And then they get drawn to that, like, oh, okay, so there's some truth in all cosmologies. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's like taking L. Ron Hubbard at his word when he created Scientology. It's like, oh, this is the truth. This is it. This is our origin story. Like, this is the one. Well, when did he make that? The 1950s. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
I mean, what's the right year to create a religion that's true, though?
It's just something that I battle with too, bro. Like, what makes the other ones, the major ones, the three major religions, legitimate? What, that they're older than anything else? Like, how about Philip K. Dick? He was having visions. He was having things, Valis talk to him. Something was talking to him. Look at the Bledsoe family. I don't know if you're familiar with them. Where they're encountering entities or CIA, FBI, different.
Are they?
John D. Edward Kelly.
How much is their Patreon?
I don't know how I you can buy his book. You can buy his book. But that's the thing, bro. Like, who am I to say, like, if God can or cannot talk to you, or if what you talked to was or wasn't God?
Well, do you think that the oldest is the most right? Because usually that's the dynamic that comes up, that it's like, oh, Mormonism's not true because it's too new, but the Bible's true because it's so old and it's lasted so long. It's got to be true.
We have never, no one, I'm going to get slack for this, but I don't believe anyone, unless you've read the original, has read the Bible. We've read translations of the Bible. Okay. We've read a book that was translated by a group of people that was passed down through generations. That's what we've read. So you bring up a
Bible
good point.
Even exist in that definition?
We're getting into shaky ground here, bro, because
is this too hot for you?
No, not to me. No, absolutely not. But for the commenters, bro, the people who are going to leave a comment. How dare you? Yeah, we're just here to have a conversation. We know
I believe in the Bible is the true word of God. I don't know where you're going to go with this. Go ahead and be as critical as you want.
No. Here, I do believe that the Bible is the true word of God.
Yeah, Occam's razor. Occam's razor.
What I don't believe in.
The explanation is that everything in the Bible is literal.
No. I think that a lot of the stuff in the Bible has been watered down. And that's what I'm getting at, that we're getting a secondhand account. I don't speak old, whatever the original language, Greek, whatever, Aramaic, whatever it was. I don't speak of that. So I got to trust you on your word. And that's why when a lot of these other things pop up, like Scientology or whatever other sagas you want to link in there, where it's like source, trust me, bro. That's what the church has been telling everybody for thousands of years. Like, oh, no. Trust us. Okay. This is it. Because I'm even critical of that, bro. Like, I consider myself a Christian. I believe in God. But I'm critical of that because I believe a lot of things have been watered down, have been occulted, have been mistranslated. And we see that even today, bro. And I mean, you can take a one word and extract a few meanings from it. Which is it? Is it the witch that flies on a broomstick, or is it which one do you pick from? You know what I'm saying? Like, and how what you were talking about earlier, like, yo, get the Moloch ready. Like, what, bro? Yeah, just transcribe it. But can you spell it again? Yeah, just come on. We have to go. It's like, and it's like he just put the Moloch, you know, and like, there you go. Boom. And it's been Moloch for thousands of years. The next guy who picked it up, thousands of years. And I think that's the problem too because some people argue that oral tradition is more correct and more precise than written. And I've got to disagree, bro. What if one day, you had something in your throat, you're clearing your throat as you're saying that word. Next guy that picks it up, he misheard that one time you cleared your throat. Or you got lazy that one day where you were telling the story and you didn't want to, you just sped through it, you missed a part. Then the next guy who's telling the story skips that part too. And then he gets kind of lazy one day and skips a part, forgets to say one part, passes it on to the next guy. You're gonna tell me that's the most accurate way?
Damn, shots fired at Native Americans from Juan Ayala right here, dude. Oral tradition is garbage.
Hey, bro, I'm just saying, dude. Like Occam's razor, right? Occam's razor. Write it down.
I love it. You could just say Occam's razor and then just leave a room, and people are like,
"That's it,
dude. That dude just dropped a gem on us,
bro. That's crazy." Yeah. He's absolutely right. So from now on, bro, when I don't understand anything, I'm just gonna be like, "Yo, Occam's razor." Just name this episode Occam's razor.
Well, I mean, we joke here, but I mean, if we're talking about the trivium, the classic of the first 3 steps of liberal arts, it's grammar, logic, rhetoric. And you can't get to rhetoric, you can't get to NLP until you go through grammar and logic first. And logic, now it's like Reddit army debater, argument threads. But that's legit. Yeah. That's the real list of logical fallacies. And those things date back to ancient Greece. But they're also the most annoying things to ever bring up in any situation outside of like a very formal classic debate.
Well, there's opinion as well mixed in there, and how Plato said opinion is the lowest form of intellect, right? Because you have a lot of people who are going to, and that's, bro, like I said, that's what I've been battling with when it comes to my studies of anything, because I like that, dude.
Well, that's his opinion.
I like when people comment and they talk about their perspective, and I think we can do it in a respectful way. Right. If you want to tell me that I'm wrong about something, cool, whatever. Like I'm wrong about it. Or I got this one date wrong. That itself, something that's already been solidified as a fact and I get it wrong. That's one different type of correction. Then inserting your opinion is a whole nother different type. Like, oh no, well, it was this, bro. I grew up my entire life thinking that, well, I still believe that God is going to come back. There's going to be an apocalypse. There's going to be a rapture. That's what I've been ingrained with since I was a little boy.
Did you grow up religious?
Oh. Can you edit this part out? Because not a lot of people know, Thomas, that I was actually born and raised Pentecostal. But
what? Oh. You were what? You were
edit that part out though, bro. Yeah.
Like, did you do the snakes and everything? Did you talk to snakes?
No.
Is that why?
No.
Okay.
No. But I did see people jumping around, and I remember the pastors would pray over me and the preachers would pray over me, and they'd be pushing my head back, trying to get me to fall back, and I'd be holding my head up like that. They just move on, bro. It's like, I've seen miracles, bro. I've seen people get healed in front of me and stuff like that. How I've seen people who they prayed over who never got healed. You know what I'm saying? Like there's that too. But it's like there's something when you're back again to the beginning where you're in that state of mind. Where you're in that state of mind where the Holy Spirit is in the house, you feel it. You feel it in the air. But I can't explain what that is. Is that God? Is that Cthulhu? Is that the flying spaghetti monster? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But not a lot of people know that I was born, and some people believe he already came back. No, bro. This is the time after he came back. Like, what? Bro, that's crazy. So, yeah, I love studying these things, and I don't understand any more than I do. But I like the mystery. I like the thrill of it. How you said, I like the grift. I like the grift. I like to feel alive, Boom.
Don't open that door again. We've moved on.
No, I know. I'm just saying. That's what I'm here. I'm here for it. So,
what could I be doing better?
As far as what?
Just everything in general. Podcast, comics, everything.
Not make so much worthless merchandise, bro. Bring some real actual knowledge to people, and don't bring some worthless. Don't go to chosenjuan.com and sign up for the comic book, The Chosen Juan #2. Don't go and buy homunculus on it. Don't do any of that.
I just want to point out that let's get a couple things on the table. Regardless of the shape of the earth, we believe that we're in a material realm and that molecules exist and matter exists, right? Okay. So just imagine that every physical copy of chosenjuan.com, this could have been the cure for cancer, but it's not. We ended up manifesting a freaking comic book
Can you say
about
that
an
on
idiot that
YouTube?
makes people that have feces come out of their mouth. I hope I'm not giving that away.
10410. Write that down. Censor out the C word. I don't know if you're allowed to say that on
We're not allowed to say cancer.
Cure to cancer. So remember, it's about the.
No, I'm not saying we have it. I'm just saying this could have been the molecule.
Are you saying that the chosen one is the cure to cancer? Is that medical misinformation?
No. The molecules that are like this is now occupying physical.
You might have to edit that out. Me saying that comic is the.
Oh, this might not even be in physical space. This might not even be molecules.
Okay, just saying. I have to edit that whole transaction.
See, and I guess that's why some people follow the maps and some people chart the maps, and that's fine. If you want to just be the person that follows the maps and looking at the pictures of Antarctica and being like, man, I wonder if there was a wall there. There was a dude that actually knows whether or not there was a wall there, but he got banned from YouTube after he made that video, so you'll never know about it.
Yeah, or again, was he a plant by these governmental entities to?
Well, we're talking about Admiral Byrd, right? But birds aren't real.
Well, that came out posthumously, okay? And
well, he was on video, no? Was he on video talking about this?
No, but here's the thing, dude. I was thinking about this exact thing the other day, okay? And by the other day, I mean like yesterday or the day before, where I believe that the book where his account that he goes into Hollow Earth, right, with the opening and all that stuff, and he meets the people of Agartha, that was published after he died. So the validity of that is Occam's razor, right? You can assume that the person who published it may be looking for clout, whatever it is. You can say that about any ancient scripture, any book that's written, but it didn't come from him. It was his secret diary or whatever it was. But the interview that you're talking about, which I am no longer able to find on YouTube, and I did see it at one point, is the part where he's talking about that there are lands that, there are infinite lands, whatever. He doesn't use infinite lands. Let me get this correct, right? I'm paraphrasing. So this is not exactly what he said. But he's talking about uncharted, unexplored lands. Or you can take that and make it mean whatever you want. But he also said that no woman has ever stepped foot on these lands. So unless these extraterrestrials of flat Earth and the people on the outside, they're all either androgynes or whatever it is, or they're trannies and they all have penises and there's no women amongst
that time code down 107.
What'd I say?
That's a derogatory term, sir.
Which
transgenders, not the car part. Jeez, man. You're just spewing it left and right here.
Yeah, a bunch of fags. How about that? How about you edit that out?
I don't edit. You already know I don't edit, even though I should.
To quote Nixon, it's about the most faggoty thing I've ever seen, or whatever it is that he said. So he also said that no woman has stepped foot on these lands. What if he was just talking about an uncharted continent that no one at that point in time had stepped foot on?
Are you saying no woman or no one?
No one, because he was just flying over the poles at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? So you can take that and make it me. And you can use this for whatever other thing, ancient scripture, where you can quote different parts of him. Like, oh, see, this points to whatever, Job went within the earth. That's hollow earth. You know what I'm saying? Like, or whatever it was. And so you can and that's the problem with words. That's the problem with humans too, where they're going to nitpick whatever they want and run with it. So the Admiral Byrd account, I'm a bit skeptical of, because it happened after he died. And it also, that one interview that you're talking about, which maybe we can find it and post it for people, but I haven't been able to find it again. And the account where he's talking about, and even women haven't been there.
We've got a copy of the original reel at the lodge. I'll pop over this weekend and digitize it if you want.
Here, let me pull it up. I'm gonna see if I can find it, bro.
All you have to do is admit that Lucifer is your real god, and anything you want, I'll get it.
Golly, I don't know if I can do all that, dude. That's a bit much for me, dude. That I'll leave that to the Freemasons and the who else worships Moloch and Satan and Lucifer.
Just the
Who else
Freemasons, and it's
Just
only
the
a
Freemasons.
32nd degree and higher. They don't tell you
Okay.
that in the lower degrees.
Okay. All right. Cool. Let me see if I can find this here real quick. But so we can give people the truth with a capital T. You know, we don't want to spread any misinformation here.
Right. Well, if we do find the Admiral Byrd footage, though, it's going to be behind a $60 Patreon paywall. Just like we're going to call it the Arctic paywall, so that if you really want to get to see the infinite planes of Admiral Byrd and all this research, you're going to have to pay a pretty penny for it.
See the infinite planes of these nuts when you sign up for the Patreon, patreon.com/the101podcast.
I'll edit that out and make it say patreon.com/paranoid American.
Admiral Byrd, Antarctica. What was it? Interview, right? Interview.
What do you think do you think there's even an Arctic ice wall at all?
No, I don't think there's an ice wall, bro. I don't think there's an ice wall. I think that, but then that would, you're already incriminating me saying that the Earth is a certain shape, which
I didn't say that.
Yeah, but if you think that there's no ice wall, you're a global sexual, which I'm not a global sexual.
I don't know. What do they call a Fabian strip? Or I got that name wrong.
Oh, yeah.
The infinite strip, right? Mobius strip. What if the Earth is a Mobius strip?
Then it'd be round and flat at the same time. I think people would lose their minds if they figured out the truth, right? That's like the moon landing.
I mean, we still need warning labels on Tide Pods, so I don't know if it would affect humanity too much.
Signs exist because somebody at one point in time did exactly what that sign says not to do.
And another one too, which is a little bit less interesting, but anytime you've ever played a video game in your whole life and you've got those like menu screens that are like difficulty and like all like arcade mode and versus mode, every one of those was a disagreement that the designers had, and they couldn't come up with the agreement, so they just throw it on a settings page. So whenever you see a settings page with like lots of crap, it usually implies that they were not of like mind in the design room.
That's actually more interesting than the sign one, bro.
Well, that's because I was delivering the information with a capital T.
Capital T. That's right. There you go.
And using rhetoric and NLP behind it. If you rewind that, I dropped like 3 embedded commands in that.
See, this is why the show's gonna blow up, because you're using MK Ultra and mind tricks against the people who are listening. Right, you're being programmed right now. You need to unsubscribe from Paranoid American right now, because you're being programmed, and he's flashing stuff that you can't see as we're going through this episode. Okay, to be programmed in your subconscious. You can edit that out too, bro. Like the chosenjuan.com or chosenjuan.com. I always get it wrong. Chosenjuan.com. Bro, that song slaps, dog.
What do you think about just making every conspiracy theory into a song? Do you think there's any value to that, or is it just
no?
Playing with toys?
Conspiracy rap is cringe, bro. I think that if you're a rapper, you can rap about anything. So,
but why wouldn't it be more noble to only rap about important capital T things?
Truth. Capital T truth stuff. No, dude, I think that truth is subjective. Like just how you worship Satan and stuff like that. Like that to you is the truth. And to me, you know, I love Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. So that to me is truth. But again, and we're beating a dead horse, bro, because we're going to go back and forth with.
Well, that's how you make a homunculus.
Maybe that's where that comes from, bro. What if that's where that comes from? You know, don't beat the dead horse anymore.
Think about it. Beating a dead horse means that you're like going over a topic too much. But you know what else happens when you go over a topic too much? That is a magic ritual. It creates an egregore, does it not? Like repeating the same thing over and over and over. So maybe beating a dead horse is talking about a celestial egregore homunculus.
Oof. I love that, dude. And you're absolutely right, because when I did that video, or when I helped Mind Unveiled with that video, that it really got pushed out into this thing. The homunculologist started to pop up left and right. And now we have this battle of who was the original homunculologist and who traces his origins back to the first homunculologist. And again, there's more videos and more things in the collective. So who knows if it's like the 100 monkey theory, where when you get 100 monkeys on board, it starts to shift the collective and everyone, almost like the Akashic records or something or other.
What's this theory?
Do you not know about? Come on, bro.
I've heard a different version of it. But I heard the one, maybe I think of a different one, but the one I've heard is that if you lock 100 monkeys in a room with 100 typewriters for infinity, they'll eventually write every work of William Shakespeare. Is that not what we're talking about?
That would take so long, bro.
It's on an infinite timeline.
All right. Well, okay, maybe. Yeah, maybe no. But the one I'm talking about, they were washing the yams or something like that. You not know about that one? The 100 monkey theory, and I'm not talking about the 100 type. Let me get the main one, 100 monkey theory, so we can all. The 100th monkey effect is an esoteric idea claiming that a new behavior idea is spread rapidly by unexplained means from one group to all related groups once a critical number of members of one group exhibit the new behavior or acknowledge the new idea. And the idea that they give is, I believe it was, where they have an island full of 100 monkeys. They have different islands full of 100 monkeys each. In the first island, they teach the monkeys to, I think it was like wash their yams before they eat them. All right. And eventually all those 100 monkeys start, this group learned to wash their yams. The next group had no idea how to wash their yams. And the third group didn't. But as soon as the first group of 100 monkeys start to wash their yams, the other group in the completely different island start to also wash their yams. And then it kept spreading. The third group, fourth group, whatever, started to wash their yams. So what is that, Thomas? Is that evolution? Can it be contributed to the first group being taught and enough people got on board with the homunculus idea? Therefore, people start to see homunculi in their peripheral vision, and that's the egregore. Is that God, the spread of information? Is language itself an extraterrestrial virus? Like, what is going on? Or
I think it's pure pressure. Because if you were to decimate all 100 of those monkeys and then replace it with another fresh 100, then the whole knowledge about cleaning yams, it goes away forever. It doesn't transfer. It doesn't, like, they don't leave it lingering in the air. So once they're gone, I really do think it would be peer pressure, because the underlying theme there is that if one of the monkeys doesn't wash the yams, then they're stricken as an outcast and they don't get fed, and maybe they don't get to procreate. So they become truly outcasts from their little community. But that's the only factor that's running there, I believe.
So it was. So people are trying to find if this is an actual true story, but it was some primatologist, and it was sweet potatoes and wheat. An unanticipated study, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, so the according to Watson, the scientists observed that some of the monkeys learned to wash sweet potatoes initially through an 18-month-old female member of the troop in 1953. Emo discovered that sand and grit could be removed from potatoes by washing them in a stream or in the ocean. Gradually, this new potato washing habit spread to the troop in the usual fashion through observation and repetition. Unlike most food customs, this behavior was learned by the older generation of monkeys from the younger ones. This behavior spread up until 1958, according to Watson, when a sort of group consciousness had suddenly developed among the monkeys. As a result, one last monkey learning potato washing by conventional means rather than the one monkey at a time method prior. Watson concluded that the researchers observed that one critical number of monkeys was reached, the 100 monkey. This previous learned group behavior instantly spread across the water to monkeys on nearby islands. What? So it spread as soon as the 100 monkey learned it? Bro, what is that? Like, is this even real? Can we just chalk this up to Occam's razor and just say that it's good to wash your potatoes and they just learned it just because, and it wasn't 100 monkeys?
I mean, to me, it just sounds like evolution on a microcosmic scale. All right. Because you're making an argument too for what Freemasonry sort of represents in a way, where that imagine instead of monkeys washing potatoes, it's humans, it's masons that understand how to create these elaborate structures that seem to defy gravity and have all these ornate extras, and are able to take almost any material in the surrounding environment and chip away at it and make them into these little perfect building blocks. That's the same kind of information that, just like I would say that if you decimated all those monkeys and replace them with new monkeys, you're back at scratch. You're back at block
global
one,
resets. That would make sense.
It's a global chimp reset. But that's, in my mind, free secret societies or Freemasonry are kind of like the seed banks for those global resets.
Sperm banks,
it's like it's the smart sort of monkeys that like you protect. It's the elders that you protect. So when all the new ones come or they get decimated, the old ones are still there to pass on the knowledge to the new wave. But if everybody gets wiped out, then nobody's washing their potatoes for another 1,000 years until someone accidentally comes across it and it inherently becomes valuable. They're like, oh wow, I like not having grit in my food now. So it catches on out of pure merit. And I feel like you're making an argument for joining the Freemasons right now.
No, I'm not. I don't think that anyone should join any.
You are. Occam's razor says you are.
No, that's Mandela effect, bro. So, I'm going to just use these things interchangeably. Whenever I misremember something, Mandela effect, they changed it.
Well, it's also just a simulation theory.
And simulation. Yeah, no, absolutely. But, a lot of these concepts where I think that you're getting into the woo-woo if you're talking about egregores and things like that, where if you talk about it enough, it becomes real. Or is it a state of mind, an altered state of consciousness, like a permanent altered state of consciousness you talk about enough times? And yeah, I do think that repetition is part of ceremonial magic. So what does it say when you dedicate your life to one topic and only talk about one topic? Are people under your spell? I don't just talk about homunculus though, bro. You know that.
Oh, I didn't. That's weird that you interpret it like that. I just threw out. It's weird how you identified with a different version of what I didn't say. That's cool.
I hate you so much, Thomas. You know that?
You're working through some stuff. Okay, so complain if they don't watch you do some PCP live on air. So let's do this.
Hey, conspiracy buffs! I double dare you to take some PCP, the Paranormal Conspiracy Probe. On your marks, get set, and go.
You know the rules, right? Do I need to tell you the rules?
I don't watch this fucking show.
0 to 10. I'm gonna say a thing, and 0 means that you think it's complete hogwash, riffraff, and 10 means that like you're writing a book about it right now, and you're gonna be grifting about it on your Patreon in a week.
Grift graph.
So let's start out Box Saga 0 to 10.
0. It's a grift graph. No. Excuse me. 3. I do think that there is some legitimate truth to it. But I think it's the epitome of trust me, source, trust me, bro. But it's got some, and that's how you reel them in. It's got some truth in it, but you sprinkle in a whole bunch of other stuff. And it's like, all right, because you're pushing something that's related to you and getting people on board.
How about an alchemical homunculus?
I'll give it a 5 because, and I am writing a book on it, but I'll give it a 5 because of the same thing. It's all stories. It's all source. Trust me, bro. There is records of it for hundreds of years at a time, and sometimes even thousands. But yeah, it's too much short source. Trust me, bro. Take my word for it, which we know is bullshit too.
Let's put this one to bed. Miami Mall Aliens 0 to 10.
I think it's a 3 because
as reliable as Box Saga.
As reliable, if not less than Box Saga, because there is a lot of people coming out saying that they've got footage, but they're scared to put the footage out again. How convenient. And if you actually listen to the episode, you'd know that I'm not talking about aliens at all in that episode. And I'm actually talking about some occult rituals. So, which is also probably fake and gay as well. But yeah, 3. Dinosaurs. I loved dinosaurs when I was a kid. I don't know how to feel about the fossils, if they're even real, but I'll say a 5, bro. And it's probably a grift. The word dinosaur is made up. From what I've heard and seen, there was a battle going on, a competition going on of who could one up the other guy. And I guess they all of a sudden started finding these fossils in one small area. So it could have been a grift for fame.
What about dragons? And I mean flying and fire breathing.
Let's go with a 3, bro. There's too much mythology around it. Source, trust me, bro. So
How about Bigfoot?
same. And people have to understand, I'm a skeptic, bro. I'm a skeptic, and that's why I'm here. So a lot of things, just because I talk about something doesn't mean I believe it 100%.
What about demons?
Grift. I think that it's energies, and I think that angels, demons, daemons, all that stuff can be used interchangeably. And mental health is a real phenomenon. So I'm going to have to go with a 4, maybe 5, because you can use that word interchangeably. I think that there is forces on the other side. Am I playing this right? Do I have to explain it?
I mean, well, you're a self-proclaimed skeptic that rates dinosaurs 3 and demons 5. I don't know. Do you think that makes logical sense?
Well, when was the first fossil found? I mean, we've been talking about entities on the other side since the beginning of time. Fossils are fairly new. When was the first dinosaur fossil found? First dinosaur fossil found. The word dinosaur didn't even exist. So first dinosaur fossil found.
Yeah, but just because they didn't have a name for it yet,
bro?
does that? Yeah, but are we saying that every trilobite fossil that ever gets dug up is only from the 1800s because they only had a name for it in the 1800s?
Touche, brother. Touche. Mandela, Occam's razor, a reserve.
Simulation theory.
Simulation. We got, what's the other one? Mandela.
Well, where are you at 0 to 10 on simulation theory? Like we're all just living in a simulation.
I like that idea. It was one of the first ones that I got into, but I'm gonna have to go with a. There's no way to prove it, bro. So at 10, it's 100% like real.
Yeah,
I'm lukewarm, bro. 5, because we got to reserve the right to change our minds. Like it could be real, how it could be fake and gay. So I think, therefore, Occam's razor.
What about sympathetic magic? And I'm not talking about when you just put all your focus into something, you tend to pay more attention because you've got it focused. But I mean like as above, so below, talismanic style magic. Do you think it actually has any impact?
I think the mind has a lot more impact than anything. And I think if you believe that you've been in contact with something, or if you believe that person is unaware of it, that does something. And that's what's interesting more than anything about the occult and the esoteric and alchemy and all that stuff is the interdimensional aspect of it. So if I think, therefore it's Occam's razor. So I'm going to go with 5 there. And you're talking about the law of contagion, where one like attracts like. Things that have come in contact with one another stay in contact with one another. So it's sort of quantum entanglement there type of thing that plays into talismans, homunculus, all that good stuff. Go with a 5 on that.
It's pretty solid 5.
Yeah, pretty solid 5.
What about the Bible? 0 to 10. How accurate is the Bible in general?
I've never read the original, so I can't speak on that.
Okay, King James Bible. Or whatever the weird Pentecostal snake blood version that you weirdos read.
If we're talking about King James 1611, that's a 3 right there, bro. Source, trust me, bro. It's the divinely inspired word, and King James was gay.
What about heaven and hell?
It's a grift to get people more on board.
So does that mean 3 or 5?
3. I've never been there.
So once you find yourself burning for eternity, you'll be like, it's 10, it's 10.
Yeah, Thomas. You know, I'll hit you up, bro. I'll dial you in. You're gonna get like a fuzzy phone call. Hello? Comes Razor.
You have a collect call from What about gold? What do you think about alchemists and actually creating gold from lead or any other substance that someone at any point in history has successfully created real gold?
I think that isn't there a process now where you can birth diamonds and create. So the reasoning behind that, bro, is that the same molecules that are in lead are in gold. And if you're able to find a way to manipulate them and change them around, that you're able to have you're able to project lead from to gold to its form.
Well, just like we are unequivocally stating that the chosen one is the cure for cancer. If you burn this and turn it into ash and inject it into your arm, it will cure cancer.
Yikes. Wow. That's heavy, bro. That's heavy right there.
It's the same molecules, bro.
That's heavy. Check out this mustache that I got. Check that out.
Just because you're going deep into the young phase, you think you're gonna turn into Carl Jung, don't you?
No.
3 or 4 times, and you're like, I'm gonna grow a mustache.
Wait, does he talk about the mustache? In that? No, he doesn't.
Didn't he have a sick mustache? Him and Freud both had sick mustaches, I think.
No, Jung didn't have a mustache, bro. Carl Jung.
And aren't you following the ways of the Illuminati? Because isn't Carl Jung Illuminati?
He was a secret society. He was a part of the Secret Service. Was it OSS 388 or something like that? Yeah, it's all fabricated by the government. And no, I don't subscribe to Jung 100%, and I don't subscribe to his alchemical views either, bro. I think that it's a lot more complicated. I think that he just piggybacked his ideas off of alchemy. He saw some of his ideas in alchemy, but I don't think he was 100% right. I think he's right to some point, of the changing your mindset and transmuting that into something. But his view on alchemy and again, my views on alchemy are very tainted because of all this. And in my opinion, I've painted it to be a lot more supernatural than it probably was. But that's because I'm following the stories and the lore, and I enjoy the lore, right? So that comes with the territory. But I'm not saying that it's the truth, bro. Occam's razor. Mandela effect.
If we do an alchemy off, who do you think's in like the final 4 of all alchemists? Paracelsus, Kelly, Dee, all of them. Who's making the top 4?
Edward Kelly. Edward Kelly was one of the greatest alchemists of all time, highly slept on. So I'd say, you said top 4?
Yeah, final 4.
Let's go with ranked Edward Kelly. Fulcanelli can account for a few of the ones. Fulcanelli can account for Valentine, for Saint Germain, for Fulcanelli, for a few. Like that's a group. That's like the QAnon of alchemy. And then I'd say let's throw Gerber in there. Geber, Jabir bin Hayyan. That guy, he was onto some stuff, and then
he's the only one that could make a real homunculus. Everyone else,
his were good, and then Zosimos, and then Zosimos in there. So Edward Kelly, Fulcanelli and Associates, Jabir bin Hayyan or Gerber, however you want to call it, Gerbil, and then we're gonna throw in Zosimos because he was talking about some cool stuff. He was talking.
How come Paracelsus isn't getting his fair due here?
Paracelsus was an interesting guy. He was the homunc daddy, but I like those other guys better, bro. I think that I don't know. It's a hard pick, dude. Too many grifters.
Are you hermaphrophobic?
No, I'm not. I'm a global sexual.
Is that why? It's because he had an innie in and outie, and you don't like that?
Yeah, I don't like that. He had a huge clitoris penis thing that he had going on, Paracelsus. So, yeah, there's some evidence that he was something of a hermaphrodite, something like that. Some weird thing. His genitalia was all mutated from, again, I'm just reading books, bro. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Do you think he could have created his own homunculus the good old fashioned way?
Yeah, I do think, and I think it was a sort of technology, bro. If anything, it's a sort of tech that people are able to tap into, like the Force. Use it for good or use it for evil. But Paracelsus, yeah, I do think he could have been able to make one, 100%. But again, that could have been pseudo Paracelsus too. By the way, the book that we're talking about. The Natura rerun.
Occam's razor says they're all pseudo.
Mandela effect. Yeah.
And oh man, I had a great last one, but I don't. It might be escaping me now, man. You threw me off my game. Oh no. Final question: are you comfortable with long silences?
No.
Oof, you answered that a little too quick for that to be true. So tell people where they can find you.
TJOJP.com. I just want you to know I hated every minute of this, and hopefully we don't have to do this again. And yeah, at the Juan Podcast, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I'm everywhere and nowhere at the same time. If you want to pay me to give you absolutely nothing, patreon.com/the Juan Podcast. And thanks for having me on, bro.
I remember my question. Do you think you're giving this material the respect it deserves?
Never. And I'm not here for that dude. That guy is turned into like the super fan. Like he's like at the highest tier of my Patreon. He's like in my groups. He's like the ultimate fan now. But it was a little abrasive at first, but that's how we work. We're a little abrasive at first. And then we grow on you. Like some fake and gay space mold that turns you into some sort of zombie that will then go on to chosenjuan.com and sign up for the Kickstarter of chosenjuan.com, and then go on to all the other websites, sign up for all the tiers and everything like that, members on YouTube, all that good stuff, because we're here for it. We're here for the grift, and we're here for a good time. We'll make it fun in the meantime while we take your money. So,
and shout out to that dude, you don't give this material the respect it deserves. And it's awesome to hear that he's on board now. He's like one of the big supporters, although right now he's getting truth with the lowercase t. That's why your website starts there with a little lowercase t. But if you want the uppercase T truth, he would be a top subscriber on the Paranoid American Patreon, where you get way more insight. We don't grift. We don't talk about Miami Mall aliens. We only talk about truth with a capital T. So
yeah, only truth that, truth. That's it. That's all we're here for, bro.
And just to put a nail in this coffin, because people were asking, it's always one of the top comments. I started this out asking you, who's the homunculus? And you kind of you made a really compelling case, which I think I'll cite from now on, that like, if you're in a big family, if you've got power, if you've got a lot of like a following, there's a better chance that you're a homunculus because you're at the whim of these elites. And I was just thinking, you've got a bigger family than me. You've got a bigger following than me. And I think you might have more cool stuff than me. So you've kind of worked yourself into this corner where you are de facto the homunculus out of the two of us, based on your own logic.
No. I'm a
Occam's razor, bro.
I got fans in the thousands. I'm talking about fans in the millions, bro. Once we get there, once I cross that threshold where I evolve into a full-fledged homunculus, I'll let you know, bro. And then I probably won't talk to you anymore because I'll be so big. I don't even need.
Well, I'll just wipe the text off your forehead, and you'll just go back into like hibernation mode. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, bro. Don't twist my words. Don't use this episode to create a fake AI version of me. But who knows? I might have been a fake AI version of myself this entire time. I might not even be the real Chosen Juan. I might be a faker, big fat liar.
If I were to train AI on you, what would be the worst thing that I could get you to say? Like something you definitely wouldn't say.
That the earth is flat and that 9/11 wasn't an inside job.
That's it? Yeah. Nothing more salacious than these?
No, I don't really.
What if it was like, my name is Juan Ayala, and I've been lying to you all and stealing your money on Patreon, and homunculus is a grift?
Deep fake. I'll tell you that myself. Homunculus is a grift.
All right, there we go. We found the title for the episode. Everyone, go follow Juan and his grifting at patreon.com, chosenjuan.com. And yeah, homunculus owners. Oh, and you know what? This is a special occasion, so maybe I'll show off a little prototype. It's not done yet. It'll be in full color, but this is the official homunculus growing kit with the full miniature alchemy lab included. This is legit. It'll be out soon. It's not Juan, just like I am not paranoidamerican.com.
chosenone.com. Go visit chosenone.com. It's easy to remember if you just sing along. chosenone.com. Go visit chosenone.com. The chosen one, yes, he is the chosen one. He's got his own comic, and now he's got his own song. 'Cause he's the chosen one, yes, he is the chosen one. Go buy a copy at chosenone.com. chosenone.com. Go visit chosenone.com. It's easy to remember if you just sing along. chosenone.com. Go visit chosenone.com.